Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Woof, I know, Wolfie. We are trying to begin episode 600 of Farlands or Bust today on Monday, August 8th, 2016. You may be saying, Kurt, you said previously, I heard upon the grapevine, that you were trying to get episode 600 out on August 6th. But no, that didn't happen. No, it didn't. August 8th, actually. This was totally intentional and not at all due to other reasons. But August 8th is actually now going to be doubly important because we're going to double our double mint gum. No, because August 8th, if you remember, you should remember, is actually the date that episode 491 was published. And you may be wondering, Kurt, why do you care about such a random and non-necessary number? Well, episode 491 was actually episode 1 of season 6. Season 6 started on August 8th, 2016, so episode 600 now. Start! Episode 600. August 8th, 2016. Proper formatting. Formatting. Episode 600. Season 6. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. That'll make it seem like season 6 sticks. Fish sticks. Let's just say indeed. That's what we do. Start of episode 600 for your August 8th, 2016. And yes, I know, Wolfie, we gotta make some progress here. Do I need some tools I could use? Well, aside from myself, I could use some basic... Whoops, that's not how you make that at all. Oh yeah, the sliding doesn't work. I've been playing too much Minecraft Bingo. That's not how that works at all. So yeah, let's grab our stuff. So yeah, I figured we couldn't make August 6th, so let's try, and hopefully I'll be really beside myself like this. I'm behind myself here. I'll really be upset if I can't get this up on Monday, August 8th, but I'm hoping so, because that is... that is disco sign doesn't advertise. That'll be an appropriate thing to match 1 year of season 6, and in that 1 year, of course, August 8th, 2015 is when we started season 6, the Child's Play charity fundraiser for season 6. Over at farlandsorbust.com, we said we would try to be raising $60,000, and that we are continuing to try. Right now, up to $38,353.00. Whoa, I'm getting a little bit discombobulated here. I'm reading numbers off my notes. $38,353 at the time of this recording. That is 63% of the way there. I do appreciate. I know it might seem like, oh, we're not raising as much money, or oh, it's taken over a year and we're not even there yet. But think about it. What $38,000 is for Child's Play charity, what that gets hospitals around the world, getting them toys, books, games, and whatnot. And it's not just big old Xboxes or expensive things like that. It's iPads and iPad apps and whatever little things may be needed by the hospitals or whatever services are being provided, and that all goes to help that, and that is much appreciated. So fear not. True, we may not be blasting through these goals in a week like certain marathon charity fundraisers go, but that is not the way of our journey. Our journey is slow and constant, and we will get there when we get there, and we're making progress. Progress is being made every single episode here, so I do appreciate everybody who continues to donate to the charity at farlandsorbust.com. The offer still stands, also, that when we reach $40,000, I will join the Mindcrack Crack Pack server, kind of enter into my first serious foray of modded Minecraft, very seriously modded Minecraft over there on that server. So we just got to reach that $40,000 goal, and that would make that happen as well. Little incentive to keep it rolling here. And like I said, I do appreciate, and of course, episode 600 here, kind of crazy to think about. I don't have anything special planned. I asked for suggestions, but a lot of them were things I had already done, like go to the Nether, or find some more diamonds, or one was go to the build height limit and do something up there. I think I've actually, I do doth and declare remember being up there already, but accidentally. I think it was during a Flobathon. You'll have to maybe go back and correct me. But during a Flobathon, I think I climbed and ended up on top of a really tall mountain that was up at world height limit. And I think I built the elevated hidey hole without knowing that I was building it towards world height limit, and then I disappeared. Well, I didn't disappear, the textures disappeared. Because once you, in this version of the game, go above 128 blocks, I believe it is the maximum here. Once you go above that, the textures, the lighting disappears, and I was in third-person view, and my player texture just like went blank. So I think we've already done that. I think we've already explored what happens there. So yeah, I don't have anything particularly special planned. Maybe relying a little bit on Minecraft to try to provide us with something amazing, but then again, we will not be disappointed if we do not. I'm not sure. I'm also kind of on the fly here, trying to, I'll decide whether or not I want to make this kind of a special extended episode. I was considering, well, 600 episodes, season 6. It's going to go up on August 6th, but isn't. I can make it, instead of a standard 3-day episode, I can make it a 6-day episode, but that might be kind of pushing both myself, the game, which likes to freeze and crash after a certain amount of continual play, as well as you, the audience, your attention spans, making what is normally a 35-minute show into an hour and 10-minute show might mean I lose some of you halfway through, particularly even with the podcast version. So I don't know. We're just treating it like normal, you know. We're just going forth, going west, making more of that progress. Maybe we'll tack on a day or 2 or 3. I don't know, and maybe Minecraft will bestow upon us some sort of magical happenstance or rare item in a spawner or something, right, Wolfie? Whoop, woof. You could use a little pick me up. Boop. There we go. That's a little bit more better. That's a little bit more better. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit appropriate that we started season 6 here, way back at the, what did we call it? Other than like the season 5 F3 monument, it was a crater. It was a spirally crater that I built a lava tower down to, like a drill was drilling down into the crater, and then placed upon the perch. It's been 1 year since we've possessed the diamond sword of spawn pointiness, and last episode we learned that the oldest item, perhaps, and definitely older, and perhaps even more important than was the diamond sword of spawn pointiness, is our compass. Our compass tells us which way to go, as in which way to go the opposite of, back to spawn. We're traveling away from that. And it has become a symbol of our journey towards these far lands over the past 5+ years, which is also crazy to think about. So yeah, that's a spicy meatball. That's a spicy meatball indeed. And how's our armor doing? Our armor's okay, except for those boots. Ooh, those boots. Them boots, though. So yeah, I do appreciate everybody's patience here with what continues to go on, detracting some of what I would rather be working far more diligently at. Obviously, Far Lines of Bust, but also live streams and other videos. You may notice there have been a great deal of bingo videos going up. Those are a little bit easy to record, and we've gotten a little bit of a group together to start doing multiplayer stuff with that, which is always fun. But suddenly my channel is all Minecraft bingo all the time. But yeah, we'll slowly ramp up, and I do appreciate, like I said, everybody's patience with that sort of stuff. It's yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, something else I jotted down in some notes that back a year ago, on episode 491, start of season 6, some of the topics of that episode included the New Horizons spacecraft recently did its Pluto flyby and investigation. That was over a year ago that happened, so that was something worth talking about. And now we learn that New Horizons is continuing on, and I do believe they've declared the next object that they're kind of directing New Horizons towards, another KBO, Kuiper Belt object. It's going to be able to direct towards, not quite the size of Pluto, obviously, but another significant object beyond the far reaches of the solar system that we're going to get to see and science for the first time. That'll be awesome. The other topic, we talked about Google Plus and how YouTube said that Google Plus is no longer going to be a requirement for YouTube users. A year later, we're still waiting for that. We are still waiting for that indeed. And I think I even mentioned that a couple months ago, too. Like, whatever happened to that there, guys? I think it's been a while. I think you could always, as a commenter, as a user of YouTube, you could sign up and make an account without a Google Plus account. But I know for sure, as a YouTuber, as a creator, as somebody who wants their own channel, if you want your own channel and you want to be able to upload videos to that and publish to that channel, it requires you to set up a Google Plus account. So I don't know when that disconnect is, or if it ever is going to happen. I was really looking forward to being proven right, because I still have yet for this channel to set up a Google Plus account. We're gonna win, Wolfie. We're gonna win. So yeah, let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And an episode 600-ness. Whoa, watch your stepness. There we go. Harmonic. Hey, let's pick up some skeleton residue while we're at it. Come on. Keel over. Keel over. There we go. Well done. Good job. Skeleton residue. Let's just, what was that? Why don't we, Porky Pig there or something? Why don't we just jump right into questions here? Got a lot of donations and questions, and a very generous one from our friend Yole. With a very generous donation. All the donations obviously are generous, but just feel every now and again when we get a little bit of an extra spicy meatball that we need to kind of point it out, and this time Yole, a longtime supporter of the charity in Farlands Bust, gave a little bit of a extra special donation, Child's Play charity. Oh, we have over a stack of arrows. I know what I can do about that. Kapow! All right, problem solved. We can answer this question from Yole. Do you dip a gluten-free chicken nugget in anything? I think in one of my streams I might have mentioned I was eating chicken nuggets or something, or I had eaten or was about to eat. Do you dip a gluten-free chicken nugget in anything? Yes. Barbecue sauce. And I've particularly become fond of Sweet Baby Ray's hickory barbecue sauce, because it says right there on the bottle it's gluten-free. You can never be too sure with barbecue sauce, because sometimes they add wheat food starches to thicken the sauce, but when I first went gluten-free, I kind of checked all the labels, and this one said gluten-free on the back, and it actually tastes pretty dang good, so I stick with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Sponsor. No, not really. I used to, when I did used to have like McDonald's chicken nuggets, I kind of like, I should try that again. Honey? It's kind of weird, and there's a lot of sugar in that, but honey, dipping your chicken nugs in honey would be interesting and tasted good. But I think I'll stick with the barbecue sauce, because I normally, once I bake the frozen chicken nuggets, I also make French fries. So French fries go good in barbecue sauce, or I'll have ketchup with the French fries. So that answers that question. I did also just purchase, they were on sale, both the chicken nuggets and gluten-free chicken strips. So I might try the chicken strips at some point over the weekend or something like that. Big day I planned ahead. Got chicken strips. It's going to be crazy. It's a series of questions from Yole here. Yole, do you sleep with your closet doors open or closed? Well, it's a, oh gosh, get out. See now, I'm starting to get used to Minecraft 1.9, playing all this bingo and stuff. I hit shift to try to get out, and that didn't work. Also, I've been playing a lot on the Patreon server. The Patreon Minecraft server, which is 1.8, but I do believe the boat get out thing is still shift. Closet doors open or closed at night. I can say that, like, in a hotel room or in my old, like, childhood bedroom, closed. Closed, definitely closed. Some childhood anxieties and fears and nightmares were fueled by what exists beyond the doors of the closet. So those maintain. So I kind of maintain let's keep the closet doors closed instead of being witness to a vast and empty darkness just beyond the edge of our bed. But here in the place I'm in Arizona, the closet is actually accessible through the bathroom, and it's sliding doors. So it's just easier to leave it open. Just so you go into the bathroom, and instead of having to slide open and close doors all the time, just leave it open. So yeah, I leave it open, but only because it's out of sight from the bedroom. So yeah, I suppose it's a conditional scenario there, I suppose. Also sleeping question, do you sleep with your sheets tucked in or out? One tuck, one no tuck. Tucked in. I don't like when the sheets, if they are not tucked in, if they get out of symmetry, like if the corners aren't at the corners of the bed, it just becomes impossible to rearrange them, specifically in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep. So tucked in for just to secure them in place, not necessarily for tightness or anything like that. I do like a little bit of extra room around the feet, I suppose. But it's also one of the weird things. No matter how hot it is at night or anything like that, I always need a sheet, at least a sheet. There needs to be something covering me up to my neck, or like at least up to my shoulders. And I've heard other people who have very similar habits. But then again, I can't fall asleep. It might also be why I can't nap. I've never been able to nap in the middle of the day, is because I can only sleep if there is some sort of fabric covering over my body. Even though I'm sleep completely clothed, in a full three-piece suit. No, even though I'm wearing a shirt and shorts, it's not something I can do. Just the sheet protects you from those monsters in the closet. That's how the rules. That's the way the science works. We've determined such things. So I gotta have the sheets, or just at least a sheet. Indeed, Wolfie thinks so. So yeah, but I also, even for neatness, for whatever reason, my parents always sort of placed upon us the importance of making one's bed and making it every morning, and like when changing the sheets to properly get the kind of military tuck under the mattress with the sheets and the fitted sheet. And the blanket and the comforter or whatever. So, yeah, I'm sure that's probably also where my predilection to tuck in the sheets comes from. But yeah, those are some interesting random questions there, and thank you very much for that donation. Yole. From Me25. Did you ever expect to have someone that worked at NASA follow you, or in my case, used to work there, even though when I first subscribed to you, I still work there? Well, I suppose not, just statistically speaking, surprised. But yeah, it's always neat to hear, and you've not been the only one. There have been people who have offered me oh, I work, or maybe it's not them, maybe their family member or friend or parent works at a certain facility, and if you'd like to come take a tour, we'll take you on a tour of this, or get you up close and personal with this thing. And I've always had to thus far decline, just because it would be a great expense to travel to these places for that. But it is always surprising. hearing from. Oh, here's our chance, everybody! It's episode 600. Let's see what Minecraft has for us. Ooh, boy! Happy birthday to me! Come on now! Come on! Come on! Whoa! That's how you set yourself up for disaster. All right, let's do this properly. So yeah, it is always a surprise, and I'm always quite flattered and also maybe sometimes embarrassed because I know in many occasions I will talk about space NASA stuff and be completely incorrect about any sort of facts that I should have. All right, hold your breath. Drum roll, please. Oh gosh, this is actually a curse. This is a double curse. I am not touching anything in that chest. That's a double curse. That's not so much a double curse, but we are going, I don't know that we've ever seen 2 golden records, and this is actually quite rare. Speaking of quite rare things, I'm not going to touch them, don't talk to them. Golden records, Good had an entire series based around trying to find a golden record. I don't know that he ever did. And here we found 2 for a little bit of history, for just a wee bit of history. One of the first, if not the first, golden record we found was during the second Flobathon, and almost immediately after we found and took the golden record, Wolfie disappeared. Wolfie disappeared and was unrecoverable, and then that is what set up the quite depressing finale of that Flobathon, and then prompted the next season's invoked hidey hole paradox to go back in time to reclaim Wolfie from before that event happened. And we even marked off that spawner that we found as an evil spawner. We destroyed the golden record of evil in the fires of a bucket of lava I had on me. And yeah, so two golden records. 2 golden records in a spawner is surely a curse. Now I've really got to keep an eye on Wolfie and myself and watch where I'm walking. But I didn't touch him. I think really the curse only transfers when you pick him up. Something else happened. It might not have been Far Lands of Bust, but in like another game, perhaps a UHC or something, when I found golden records and then disaster befell us. They're evil and shall be avoided at all costs. Oh, let's not stand so close to that. Now I'm like super paranoid. All right, so gotta be extra special. I'm special. Extra careful now with the remainder. So yeah, golden records. In addition to the golden apple and the netherrack and the diamond sword of spawn pointiness and all these other things that have some sort of history in Far Lands of Bust, golden records are one of them that have quite a negative history, so we avoid them at all costs. Let's go to sleep, try to forget that ever happened, and continue in the morning. And awakeness. Whee! He says, let's be careful, and then promptly jumps into some precarious waters. Indeed. So yeah, to answer that question, yeah, it's always a surprise, but it makes me feel good. I don't know that I've ever heard of any astronauts. Not that anybody else who works at NASA isn't as important, but I don't think there's any astronauts or anybody who are watchers or familiar with Far Lands of Bust. I think maybe they're a little bit busy. Busy with their time being astronauts or former astronauts or anything like that. To be watching any sort of vid game let's play on YouTube. But otherwise, yeah, it's always neat. It's always neat to know, and I'm always happy to hear the very interesting and varied careers people have and where they work and stuff. So it's cool beans indeed. Speaking of NASA and space, science, Kavak, with their donation, asks, if you had to choose which rocket launch to watch in person next, what would you prefer? A big but slower liftoff like the Delta 4 or 5, Delta 4 Heavy or Ariane? Or would you be interested in a more smaller and faster like the Vega? Or there's actually a NASA social, I think it's still available for sign up to watch the return of flight of the, is it the Cygnus? No, Cygnus is the name of the capsule, the resupply ship. Antares, the orbital return to flight of their rocket the one that very spectacularly exploded off the launch pad a couple years ago, a little bit over a year ago, I think, more than a year ago. Its return to flight, I believe, is at the end of this month, and there's a NASA social to sign up for that. Which that one, I remember it being very fast. I think it is like a solid rocket motor on the first stage there. It just goes kapow, and, well, it went kapow, but I mean, it rockets off the launch pad, as opposed to like a Falcon 9. Liquid fuel rockets seem to take their lazy old time hovering and then slowly accelerating away from the launch pad. Well, just overall, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this many times, the rocket launch that I'm kind of holding out for, that I would particularly say I would put personal expense towards trying to see, would be the Falcon 9 Heavy, which is going to be literally it's 3 Falcon 9 rockets strapped to the sides of each other's, much like the Delta Heavy. But even bigger and more thrustful. But there have been many delays. They were even saying 2016, but now I very much doubt that. They had recently talked about how with the Falcon 9 Heavy, using the first stage return to launch, they've asked for clearance, and I suppose they've asked to purchase land around in Cape Canaveral there, SpaceX, around the landing pad on the ground, not the barges, but on the ground landing pad. They want to purchase land next to those to make 2 more landing pads, because those 3 first stages will return at the same time after launch, almost simultaneously. At least the first 2 side boosters will. So that would be super interesting. But yeah, that feels like that's going to be a while. But that's definitely the one I'm kind of holding out for, and why I've done my best to resist signing up for any upcoming NASA socials or anything like that to view a launch. I mean, that one, people have said, well, it's a SpaceX thing. The first flight is definitely not going to be NASA related. SpaceX still holds socials, and sometimes they fall under the umbrella of NASA socials. Sometimes, but yeah, that might be the case. In which case, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to just go to a place to publicly view it, even if you don't make a NASA social about it. And I would even consider that much. I'm not sure where it would launch from first, though. Whether or not they would do it from is it Vandenberg out here in California, or if they would do it. I would think they would do it from Kennedy Space Center, because they recently bought Pad 39A and are refitting it for the Falcon 9 Heavy and the potential crewed missions of the Falcon 9 in the Dragon capsule. So I don't know. I'm keeping my ear on the radar for that, but I'm in no particular hurry. That was the most wasteful boat ride I've ever taken here in Final Answer Bust. Let's go 27 blocks. Yeah, thank you very much, Kavak, for that donation and question. Rahul asks, what is your most vivid childhood memory about space? Was it Discovery? Was it a Discovery? I'm thinking of the Space Shuttle Discovery. Was it a launch? Well, I don't know how vivid it is, but I do recall, and it was certainly when I was young, seeing on TV. I wasn't in school yet, though, so I must have been 4 years old or so. Seeing the Challenger launch on TV, and of course the subsequent disaster from that. I kind of remember that, but it's one of those memories that everybody says, "Oh, I know where I was there," but then it turns out they weren't there or whatever. Just because it's just it's one of these shared memories now that we've seen it so much on TV, and I can't remember. I want to say I was watching it live because I was at home. It was in the middle of the day, and my sister was at school or something like that, but I had yet to have started grade school, so I must have been 4 or something, 4 years old. The timeline adds up that makes sense, but I'm not 100% sure, because I distinctly remember then having to go with my mom shopping, and I wanted to buy a little like Hot Wheels die-cast space shuttle, but she didn't want to buy it for me because we had just watched one blow up off the pad. So Or not blow up, technically, broke apart, whatever. So, yeah, I can't remember specifically if that was vivid. I also vividly remember, I was a lot older, but the landing of the Pathfinder and Sojourner rover on Mars. And I distinctly remember watching that live broadcast on news television. Probably CNN or whatever was around back then. They had live coverage as opposed to needing to follow these things on the internet and NASA TV. I was following it there when they were getting the pictures back and stuff, and they're all, oh, this is the first step in the next 10, 20 years. We'll be landing humans on Mars or whatever. And I'm like, hey, that works out perfectly for me because I'll be about the right age to be an astronaut, and I'll get to go to Mars if I can do blah 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 blah. Which, of course, other things happen that have delayed that many, many, many times. So, yeah, I remember that. But those are kind of the main ones. Surprisingly, I don't remember hearing that much about Hubble. The Hubble Space Telescope, even though that happened in the early 90s when I was in grade school. I don't remember hearing too much. I do remember being very excited whenever we would have like a single day of science, the science part of our class, and we would talk about space or whatever, but it only ever took up like an entire, a day's worth of lessons, and then we moved on to other things, which was always disappointing for me. But yeah, I think that answers your question there. You better be happy with that answer. No. Oh, man. We have some questions here that I've also lined up in regards to Far Lands or Bust and the programming before you. So I think I'm good to extend this at least another day. We'll review where we're at and what we've experienced on a day-by-day basis. I might take a quick break to exit the game and then restart the game, just so we don't fall into the trap of freezing and losing all my progress, as has happened in the past. So yeah, maybe at the end of this night, I'll still do an elevated hidey hole. Gotta make some beds. Well, might as well. Ooh, I need some. Actually, good thing I checked. Need some wooden planks here while I'm at it, for which to make these boats and subsequent beds. But yeah, I've got some questions here that I thought were very appropriate. Oh, there we go. Talking about Far Lands or Bust and my plans and programming and whatever, and the future. The future 600 episodes. So we'll answer those. All right, let's get a bunch of planks here. Whoop. Remember when all the planks were the same color? Simpler times. Simpler times. All right, let's make 2 beds. Whoops. Just in case we want to go for the full 6 days. And then a couple boats while we're at it. And the sun is kind of setting. You know what? This is actually a... Boop. This is kind of a perfect spot. That's a nice sunset over the mountains. Wolfie seems to agree. He's like, why aren't we digging into the ground? This is normally when we dig underground for the end of the episode, hidey hole. What are you doing? You crazy person? Did you not see those 2 golden discs taunting us with their dangerous auras of danger and destruction? But yeah, let's go to sleep, and we will continue with episode 600 of Far Lands or Bust in the morning. And awakeness. And awakeness indeed. I don't know. That's not going to be that seamless of a transition. I actually paused and exited the game prior to sleeping, so that's going to be weird. But yeah, let's continue here with day 4 of episode 600. This question from the anonymous donor. Not an anonymous donor that didn't leave their name. The name they left was the anonymous donor. Did you ever consider changing charities? What's going on with the Kurt J. Tat? I've talked about this pretty much at the beginning of every Far Lands or Bust season. Whenever I set a new donation goal for Child's Play charity that, well, I've thought about and I looked at and considered different charities, or even one one season I said maybe we should have more than just one charity and just take the accumulated donatables up to that point as the main goal. But it's difficult to do such a thing, and it's also just difficult to make such a change. We've been, like I said, supporting Child's Play charity since the beginning, since we've started doing the charity thing, part of Farlands or Busts, and there's definite reason behind it. The fact that I first learned about Minecraft as a game from reading the Penny Arcade comic, and Penny Arcade are the founders of Child's Play charity. I found to be a pretty consistent relationship there with my own experience with Minecraft. I heard about there was the 2 comics, the daily comic of Penny Arcade talked about Minecraft, and I had yet to have heard about it, so I looked it up found YouTube videos and X's Adventures of Minecraft, and the rest is history. So did that, and I suppose by also an extent that's how I discovered kind of the greater world of Let's Plays on YouTube, was through that leading to Minecraft, leading to YouTube videos on Minecraft. So there's that connection. They've always been very supportive of all the marathons and fundraisers that are supporting Child's Play charity. We're helped out with being listed on the website and meeting everybody involved at different PAXs and stuff. It would be a difficult thing. I wouldn't want it to seem like I'm replacing or finding a replacement. It's still something that I feel is very appropriate to support. It's just kind of one of these constants. Of course, on the flip side of that, people have expressed interest that, well, maybe people are, a lot of these fans of Farlands or Bust have been supporting for almost up to those 5 years. There could be a little bit of fatigue in just, people might think, oh, I've already given this much to Child's Play charity. I would support more if it was something else. I've considered that as well, and it's always something that's going to remain on my mind, and we'll review and stuff. But right now, it's kind of the simplest thing is to continue supporting Child's Play charity. Like I said, to keep with consistency and the relationships and history, I suppose, with that. Of course, we ended up and continue to end up supporting other charities through other events beyond Farlands or Busts. Through Mindcrack, we've helped out Extra Life and Game Changer through other streams or events. The Mindcrack marathons and whatnot. As the first Mindcrack marathon, we went to Child's Play charity through Farlands or Bust. So, yeah, there's always opportunities to consider that stuff, but I don't. It's not something I feel. That's a spawner, probably, but we can't see it. Them's the rules. I was gonna say I want to check it out to see if there's something better in there, but could have been another golden apple. But since we can't see it, we do not explore it. Out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, I've considered it, but it's not. I don't think it's certainly. I don't think a detriment. From what I feel, all the money goes to a great cause, and a cause that, even as a charity, is very puts a great majority, up to more than 95% of the money raised actually goes to funding the funds, the charity activities themselves. There's very little overhead, so I think it's a good charity in that regard. So yeah, it's kind of a trust thing and kind of a history thing, I suppose. But yeah, well, it's always stuff we'll think about in the future. What was the second part of that question? What's going on with the Kurt J. Tat? I'm sorry. It's still going to happen, but stuff, life found a way to get in the way, that was different, which is always something that happens and can't be avoided. But yeah, I'm still very much planning on it. I just gotta find a place, both on my body to get the tattoo, but also in the world to get the tattoo from, a service, a tattoo artist, if you will, studio, regardless. So we'll do that, and I might even consider Well, maybe I should get like a tattoo first, like a normal tattoo, like a one that I want, like a non-Minecraft, non-Kurt J. Tat Initiative tattoo. And then, you know, if I'm happy with the place, if I'm happy with the results, and if I'm hooked, then I'll go ahead and get it. So yeah, sorry, that feels like I kind of copped out of that responsibility, but no, that's still definitely on the docket, and I will certainly share every little sliver of that I can when it does happen. Whoa! Okay, Kurt, we still have a little bit of a residual curse from those two golden records. Be careful. Yeah. That's just a single zombie. All the single zombies. Beyonce. The next question here from an actual anonymous donor. I was looking for the name. This is like they didn't write their name. An actual anonymous donor. If you had to make Farlands or Bust for no charity at all, would you still do it? Do you think you would lose... It would lose some of its charm without a charity fundraise for? Possibly. I'm not sure, and it's because that's what I started with. Hello, wolves. Because that's what I started. Maybe we should pick up another wolf on episode 600. No, that would be very confusing. We've already got all the logos and t-shirts made with Wolfie on them. We don't need to add another one. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, since I started it, it's kind of like I can't tell what it would be like without it. It's kind of it's all speculation at that point. It's possible maybe I wouldn't have had much incentive to continue it. I'd like to think that I would have continued. And I like to think that maybe you all would have continued watching, and just based on the series and the personality here, I've got a great personality. Not at all vain or narcissistic at all. But I think it definitely would have lost some sort of, I suppose, initial appeal. I suppose if people just hear about random dude walking to the far lands of Minecraft, might not be as interesting off the top of the head. But, oh, it's for charity, and it's a charity marathon. You know, just like there's people playing Desert Bus in a marathon. For the most point of that, it's not about the game at all, even less so than here in Farlands of Bust. It's certainly about the game and the journey and the destination a little bit. But it's not, as far as that game is concerned, it's more about just fun and the charity and the activities and personalities surrounding it. So yeah, I'm not sure. And it was kind of a conscious decision where I noticed that Farlands of Bust way back in the day, in June 2011, was starting to get some recognition, and it did seem like something unique and unusual that was drawing an audience, so I figured, why not use this for good? Use this for good and not evil. And attach a charity to it, and then that's how I kind of... the whole story like I just told about how I decided upon Child's Play charity just to support and whatever, so... yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's not what's happening. Let's see here. Xavier Penguin asks... What did Xavier Penguin ask? It seems to me that as of late, you have been attending... are going to more and more conventions... or at least entertaining ideas such as those. Have you found out that by either wanting or forcing yourself to go, it has helped the introverted part of you be not so introverted? Have you found it easier to entertain the idea of a convention or the ability to go to one? Yeah, and that's something I'm still figuring out, I suppose. And more and more I've figured out as a thing that not only... I don't know that I ever specifically avoided them, except for the fact that I didn't know anybody going, and now that I know people going, and I have a group of people who go, and that I look forward to seeing, that there is the incentive, and it's... yeah, that's a tough one to answer. I don't know that I've always maintained, introversion is not something that needs necessarily to be helped or cured or whatever, but it's, yeah, I mean, I think in terms of having found groups or a group of people and friends to meet in person. Let's go to sleep. What is this going to be? We did 1, 2, 3. That was day 4. This is going to be day 5. So if we want to make it 6 days, we'll have to go another one after this. But let's go to sleep. We'll think about that and continue in the morning. And awakeness. And a continuing on this. So yeah, I now kind of almost feel it a necessary thing because and something that I want to do, to have that in-person connection. I obviously, you know, an introvert, you just want to stay home or be a hermit or whatever and not interact with people. That's not true. That's not true at all. And these conventions now have become a source to surround myself with people. It's a bit of a trade-off because you do go great stretches without interacting in person with people, and then all of a sudden, all at once, in the span of 3 days, it's like people, you know, all the people you ever wanted to try to make time to hang out with and meet and stuff, and then it's done. So it's probably a little bit skewed in the wrong direction still. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy conventions. I'm still, like I said, and I've mentioned many times, tweaking the environment I put myself in with conventions. Obviously, the first one was really weird and really strange. Going to Paris from Minecon Paris was not at all a typical convention experience, but going to subsequent PAXs and Minecons and things, and eventually here at TwitchCon will be a completely different scenario. So it's I'm trying to decide. Oh, do I want to go as Kurt J. Mac as a personality? And then I go, okay, as Mindcrack, as somebody who's working. That didn't tickle my fancy too well. And how much? I need a little bit. Let's chop down this tree. So now I'm starting to decide to just go as me, as Kurt, and capital K, Kurt, to meet other capital first names of people who've become friends and forging those friendships even further. And stuff like that. So I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly more than I ever imagined. I never had many, like, what you would consider in real life friends. Had a little group of some kind of friends through college, but didn't keep any contact with them after college, and never maintained many friendships after high school and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. If I was to have just, like, stayed at my normal job, I would have not been open to this entire cool community of friends and stuff. So it's still something worth trying to figure out, but I think we're getting there, and I'm certainly finding more enjoyment in the convention stuff, and you know, who knows, maybe I will try to spread that sort of sudden, over the weekend, everybody at once interaction to try to, I don't know, maybe make little trips without the need for a convention to meet up with friends or people. I don't know. Who knows? Well, this is all speculation and off the top of my head. We're all figuring out this thing together, aren't we? Aren't we? The sheep certainly is, now that I've sheared his wool. Yoink. Wolfie agrees. Wolfie agrees. I should have taken a sip of water. Let me actually do that right now. This is get me prepared for the Flobathon. That's a big bucket of lava over there. Let's try to avoid that. Strafe left. Oh, condensation. It's really moist here in Arizona, Phoenix. The last couple weeks, the monsoons have come in, getting some rain and thunderstorms and stuff. So yeah, a lot of these. I've grown used to the not humidity, but now that it's humid, your glass of water condenses, has condensation around it, and what else? It's like harder to dry off after the shower or whatever, and it's a nuisance. It's a nuisance indeed, this moisture stuff. Let's see. Thank you very much for that question. Another anonymous donor This time speaking a little bit of like the future and whatever. Programming notes. For whatever reason, I was reading the so I was reading the note, and I looked off into the horizon, and I saw something floating in the sky. It was my crosshairs. I'm like, what is that in the sky? Oh, it's my crosshairs. This anonymous donor asks, why live streams? It feels like a fallback to the not-so-great age of scheduled television. Where is the advantage to this? This might be in response to how I was saying, well, I might consider, we've learned apparently that during this hiatus, not uploading videos to YouTube gains you many subscribers, and it kind of continues to. That may be exploring other avenues of content. I gotta find a better word, and we gotta find a better word for content creation. Just sounds like a mass production robot or something like that. But yeah, other platforms, I suppose, and Twitch certainly is one that has grown in popularity. So yeah, it's always, I've been doing this, particularly focusing on YouTube for 5 years, give or take, whatever little hiatusi that I've taken throughout. And just in general, across the board, viewerships, most definitely advertising revenue has stagnated or declined. And, we can't obsess about that stuff, but it's very important business-wise and income-wise and being able to pay the rent-wise. So it's something you gotta recognize. And Twitch, on the other hand, despite the fact that I've been live streaming on Twitch since almost very early into the beginning, when it was still, you registered with Justin TV and stuff, it's obviously a much bigger thing now and continues to get bigger. And they're showing positive growth over there, despite some very similar problems and hang-ups and weird, kind of stuff that afflicts the YouTube community and channels as well. But yeah, that's why I'm looking at that. A little bit of a change for myself, a little bit of a change of format. I'm not going to abandon YouTube, obviously. I said regardless, I feel like Far Lands or Bust is best served as a YouTube series, as a series of sequential videos for, Flobathons aside, for kind of archival sake. Gotta have something for the Guinness World Record folk to go back on and have proof that I've walked all this way on my own without cheating. So, but yeah, not to abandon that sort of stuff at all. And, but just to kind of shift focus a little bit. You say it's like a bygone era of scheduled television. True, and yeah, there is the give and take of, some people are going to miss this stream because it's this time zone or that and the other, and I suppose the answer to that is simply to stream more, which only encourages my thoughts. Stream more and more frequently so that more and more people have varying options to tune in. But also, looking at YouTube is very much like that as well. We have to time the times that our videos get published around certain times that people are most likely to watch, because after the initial publish and it scrolls by people's subscription feeds or the most recent feeds, views dramatically taper off. So it is scheduled. A lot of people, you will miss an episode if I upload it on a weird time that you're not around to see it. And the vast majority, hundreds upon thousands perhaps, of other people will miss it too if it's not scheduled properly. So it's a little bit of a give or take there. You got to kind of look at the analytics. But also I found a good kind of example here, and I don't mean to call anybody out or anything like that, but just talking about how it's a little bit, it is kind of disappointing to look at YouTube and to be, while still feeling like I'm pouring the same amount of effort, if not even having more practice and skill into work, not getting the same return on that is very disappointing. And I'm speaking interaction with views, with engagement, that type of return, not necessarily, but not excluding monetary return. And that's just, that's very disappointing. And then I look at, just as an example, other people, friends who do YouTube, who I look up to and who I feel have excellent content, who are making some of the best videos that they've ever done, and not wanting to call anybody out, but somebody like Zisto. Have you watched his Zisto Plays Minecraft series? The amount of work and editing and effort that goes into every one of those videos, yet he and I, 2 years ago, had the same amount of subscribers, and we're both still there. And I kind of think, like, I know I'm not, I can admit that I'm not putting the sort of effort into my videos that he does into his. And even then, we're still both stagnating. And even during the time that I wasn't uploading videos at all, I was gaining many more subscribers than he was. It's like, that's just a bummer, man. Okay, that's fine if I don't grow or find success. That's on me, but that makes it seem like it's a broader problem if the people I look up to and the people that I know pour so much into what they're doing are having the same problems. That just doesn't mesh. That doesn't mesh, my friends. There's no message. Mesh. There's no mesh. It's a solid sheet of fabric. It is not meshed. Cavalry! Let's very quickly make another bed and do this thing for 6 days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bed, bed, bed. Break, break, break. Quick, quick, quick. Here comes death. Alright, and dirt, dirt, dirt. Dirt, dirt, dirt. So yeah, I mean, we could talk until we're blue in the face about analytics and the changing audience and YouTube Red and Google Plus and sub-feed problems. But just looking at that difference is really kind of my reasoning for looking at other options. Not abandoning YouTube, not this, that, or the other, but other options. Let's go to sleep. Speaking of an option. And awakeness. Welcome to day, I almost said season, day 6 of episode 600 here in season 6 of Far Lands or Bust. This might be, I'll have to look at the archives, this might be the longest non-Flobathon episode of Far Lands or Bust. So that there, my friends, because I've done 4-day episodes. I think I've even done a couple 5-day episodes, but I don't know that I've done a 6-day episode. So this might be the longest non-Flobathon Far Lands or Bust video thus far, and that kind of makes sense, I suppose. It's kind of weird, I could have very well split this up into 2 different episodes, but I'm not going to. This is just episode 600, and the next one is going to be 601. Just to screw with the folks trying to calculate how many more episodes it's going to take to get to the Far Lands or whatever. Let's see, I answered that question fairly well, I do say, if I do say so myself, and I do. Let's look at... Okay, there's Wolfie. I don't want him to get trapped underneath the ice. Let's look at a question from yet another anonymous donor. Remember, when you do donate donuts. When you do donate to Child's Plate Charity through farlandsorbust.com, it's anonymous. It's by default anonymous. It's the vast majority of donations are completely anonymous. So if you do want your name or, this question is from XYZ, make sure to type XYZ, whatever your username is, in the comment box after your question. Otherwise, you're going to be one of these poor, completely anonymous souls whose question goes unclaimed. But I still appreciate, that might be a choice, and that's great. I still appreciate the donations and the questions regardless. This one asks, what are your thoughts on bottled water in my city? There is a trend for people to carry bottled water and refill at public points. Outside on the street, that's drain water. You can't do that from the street. It's not safe. Outside on the street, in bars and cafes, I read that the recommended water intake for adults is around 3,000 milliliters. Wouldn't that be 3 decaliters or something? A little over 2/3 of a gallon per day. Speaking of water, 6 days through the desert. I hope you heard that gross swallow sound. Yeah, I mean, like I've said before, the only thing I do drink is water, coffee, and iced tea with meals. Iced tea. I guess kind of the sugar, sweet iced tea, the sugar content, I guess maybe kind of cuts the whatever salt content might be in the food I'm eating. The two basic food groups, sugar and salt, available in granule form. Yeah, so that's the only thing I drink ever, and I certainly drink a lot more water now that I am a person who records and talks for the job. And yeah, so I've certainly been drinking a lot more water now. Bottled water has kind of a little bit of an ecological impact. If you're talking about like the bought from a store bottled water, I'll only really resort to that if there's no other option, say at a convention, even though I do have my own refillable water bottle, at a convention or an airport or whatever, when there's no other choice for clean water to carry with you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I drink. I don't measure. I'm not feeling parched or dehydrated that much ever. And yeah, it's not really a thing in America to provide free water. In the airports, they have started to put next to the drinking fountains, water bottle refill stations, because otherwise you're kind of just fumbling and trying to hold sideways your water bottle and it doesn't fill up all the way from the drinking fountain. So they've been installing ones that you just kind of put your bottle there and it fills from the top, which is very convenient. I do wish they had those around more other places as well. But yeah, I actually have I'm very pleased with my water bottle of choice, the Thermos Intac, INTAK. I'm sure it stands for intake, but it's just your standard, your BPA-free reusable water bottle that has a very convenient flip top with a very nice secure clip that also has a place that you can attach like a clip to your backpack, a carabiner clip or whatever. And that's the one I take with me to airports and conventions and stuff. I'm very pleased with that purchase, so much so that when I lost my first one, that I went ahead and bought another one. They slightly revised the design that I wasn't too big a fan of, but it still works and it's still good. So yeah, bottled water, liquid hydration. Thumbs up from Kurt J. Mack. It's got the seal of approval from Wolfie. The Wolfie McWolfington Esquire III Jr. seal of approval. Let's see here. Whoop. JMSF32 asks, do you have... Whoop, wrong one. Sorry. We... Were there any games, Vigigames, toys, or any other sort of item that you wanted but was never able to get? As a kid, I very much, for whatever reason, many subsequent Christmases in a row, wanted one of those magnetic, electronic slot car racing tracks. They were all the rage, and didn't get one until one Christmas that I did. It was the, what was it called? The Super Duper Double Looper. It had loops, obviously, two of them, and it was the one of the loops was like broken in the middle, so you had to like kind of jump upside down to catch the other loop. I was so happy and set it up in the basement. Whoops, speaking of the basement, I fell into the basement there. It's a little wet. Set it up in the basement, only to discover that one of the cars didn't work. It was one of the... No, I don't think it was one of the tracks. You know what I'm talking about, the slot cars. Little, slot car racing. And I kind of now understand why my parents never bought me one, because they're pretty dumb. Like, they don't, cheaply made and probably offer minutes of entertainment. Yeah, one of the tracks just didn't work. It didn't have power. It didn't work at all. So set it up, found that out. Only one went around. So packed it back up and returned it, and I never got another one. So yeah, I think that was probably the one kind of item that I wanted but never got. I also wanted to get into model airplanes, like the ones that actually fly. I made model plastic airplanes, models that don't do anything except model themselves. I wanted to get into remote control airplanes. I was going to hobby shops and stuff like that. Those don't exist anymore, do they? And those are just too expensive to warrant remote-controlled airplanes. So I never got one of those either growing up. Yeah, I mean, I never really wanted for too much, I don't think. For a while, myself and sisters wanted a Nintendo, and then we did eventually get that, so I guess that doesn't qualify for that question. Those are probably the things that I can remember that I never actually ended up getting growing up. Super duper double looper. I suppose also the Crossfire. Everybody wanted the Crossfire just based on the commercial. And I think I even had a friend who had one, but lost all the little metal marbles. Crossfire. Ah, jeez. Woof. Computer. Oh, I thought this was computerizer, but no, this is somebody else. Computer with an I there. There's an I somewhere in there. Guess where? Computer asks, what is your favorite breakfast meal? Breakfast meal. My most common breakfast meal as of late is oatmeal, and gluten-free oatmeal. And I get little dried cranberries and sprinkle in the dried cranberries. That's my most frequent breakfast meal right now, and coffee, of course. I was for a while doing the gluten-free bagels, but I've since gotten off those. I go on ebbs and flows and little, what's the word I'm looking for? I just have little consistent, like, trends, I suppose, where it's like, oh, it's bagels for the next 4 months, and then I switch to something else. But favorite? I appreciate a good pancake French toast. My mom always made really good French toast, but of course, French toast is a little bit more difficult to come by with the gluten-free situation. There are they're around Phoenix. I don't know why or what the reasoning is. I suppose because everybody's up a lot earlier than normal because they try to get out and on with their day before it gets to be 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Breakfast places are around and in high quality demand and just have really great breakfast places is what I'm trying to say around the Phoenix area. And a couple of them have really good scrambles. There's like Sicilian scramble, which has like sausage, Italian sausage, and cheese. They're like, they're scrambles. Instead of omelets, they're scrambles. Cheeses and whatever, and other stuff mixed in there. Or just a standard quote-unquote breakfast, which I know outside of the United States is not so standard. I found this out talking to Fabe, who's from Germany, who joined us for breakfast in Boston. And the standard breakfast here is like eggs, 2 or 3 eggs. I get them scrambled, toast, or a pancake, or whatever, some sort of bread item, some sort of potato item, your hash browns, your breakfast potato fries, not fries, but kind of whatever potato things. What else is included in that whole scenario? Toast, I already said the toast, egg type of thing, a meat, your bacon or your sausage. There can be good stuff like that to be had around. A lot of good, like I said, breakfast places, and a lot even that have gluten-free toasts for old Kurt J. Mac, or there's some places that have gluten-free. I've found some places that do gluten-free pancakes and waffles, and even some, there was a place, I just made 3 boats instead of actual beds here. Let's try that again. French toast, actually, at which is, for some whatever reason, just harder to find. I remember back in Chicagoland, a place that would have gluten-free breakfast items. That is the opposite of what I wanted to do. Dang it. Well, got rid of one of those extra boats, I guess. The bed. Put down the bed, Kurt. Forgot how this works. We've been walking for 6 days. We forgot the whole situation and schedule that we normally adhere to here in Farlands Busts. But yeah, now that we're about to go to bed, I'm glad I talked about breakfast. And I do appreciate, like I said, everybody's continued support for Far Lines Are Bust Child's Play charity fundraiser over at farlinesarebust.com. 600 episodes in the bag. Thank you very much for your patience with this one and everything else going on, and your support, both for the charity, people coming to my live streams who can, people through Patreon just supporting me personally for my work. It is very much appreciated. 600 episodes ago, I wouldn't have had a single clue that any of this sort of stuff would have happened. So I really appreciate it, and I thank you, and I'm looking forward, like I said, to 600 more episodes. Woo, cheesiness. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Skeleton residue.